was a beautiful fish who lived in the ocean. He had shiny scales that were all different colors, like a rainbow. All the other fish loved to swim around him and admire his beautiful scales. But the rainbow fish was not happy. He was selfish and proud. He thought that he was better than all the other fish. He would not share his scales with anyone. One day, a seagull flew down to the ocean. He saw the rainbow fish and was amazed by his beauty. He asked the rainbow fish if he could have one of his scales. The rainbow fish refused. He said that his scales were too precious to give away. The seagull was disappointed, but he flew away. Later that day, a storm came to the ocean. The waves were so high that the rainbow fish was swept away from his home. He was all alone and scared. The rainbow fish swam for hours, but he could not find his way back home. He was about to give up hope when he saw a small fish swimming towards him. The small fish was injured. He had lost his scales in the storm. The rainbow fish felt sorry for the small fish. He gave the small fish one of his scales. The small fish was so grateful. He put the rainbow fish's scale on his head. The small fish's scales started to grow back. He was soon as beautiful as the rainbow fish. The rainbow fish was happy that he had helped the small fish. He realized that it was more important to be kind and helpful than to be proud and selfish. The rainbow fish swam back to his home. He was no longer selfish or proud. He shared his scales with all the other fish. The other fish were so happy. They all swam around the rainbow fish and admired his beauty. The rainbow fish was finally happy. He had learned that it is more important to be kind and helpful than to be proud and selfish. Here are 10 vocabulary words from the story. Scales, hard protective plates that cover the body of a fish. Example, the rainbow fish's scales were hard and protective. They helped to keep him safe from predators. Seagull, a large seabird with white and gray feathers. Example, the seagull swooped down and snatched a fish from the water. Storm, a violent disturbance of the atmosphere with strong winds and rain or snow. Example, the storm raged for hours, battering the small boat with its waves. Injured, having been hurt or damaged. Example, the injured fish swam slowly to the surface, its scales torn and bleeding. Lonely, feeling sad or unhappy because you are alone. Example, the rainbow fish was lonely after he lost all of his scales. Deep, far down from the surface of the water. Example, the rainbow fish swam deep into the ocean to find the injured fish. Wise, having or showing a deep understanding of life and its problems. Example, the wise old fish told the rainbow fish that it is more important to be kind and helpful than to be proud and selfish. Disappear, to vanish or become invisible. Example, the rainbow fish disappeared into the darkness after he gave one of his scales to the injured fish. Prized, highly valued or cherished. Example, the rainbow fish prized his scales more than anything else in the world. Conceited, having or showing an exaggerated opinion of one's own importance or abilities. Example, the rainbow fish was so conceited that he refused to share his scales with any of the other fish. Humbled, made to feel less proud or important. Example, the rainbow fish was humbled after he lost all of his scales and realized that he was not as special as he thought he was. Generosity, the quality of being kind and giving to others. Example, the rainbow fish showed his generosity by giving one of his scales to the injured fish. Altruism, the quality of unselfish concern for the welfare of others. Example, the rainbow fish acted with altruism when he gave one of his scales to the injured fish, even though he did not know the fish. Here are some grammar lessons. Nouns. Nouns are words that name things. In the story The Rainbow Fish, some of the nouns are rainbow fish, scales, seagull, storm, injured fish, grateful fish, wise old fish, and darkness. Verbs. Verbs are words that describe actions or states of being. In the story, The Rainbow Fish, some of the verbs are swam, glistening, swooped, snatched, raged, battered, torn, bleeding, thanked, was kind, helpful, learned, lost, disappeared, and basked. Adjectives. Adjectives are words that describe nouns. In the story The Rainbow Fish, some of the adjectives are beautiful, colorful, hard, protective, large, violent, stormy, injured, grateful, wise, old, dark, and lonely. Adverbs. Adverbs are words that describe verbs. In the story The Rainbow Fish, some of the adverbs are beautifully, colorfully, heartily, protectively, violently, stormily, injuredly, gratefully, wisely, and darkly.